Vintage is one of the hottest categories to be sourcing and selling right now this time of year. But knowing what's actually valuable, well, that's a completely different story. Well, hey, my name is LeeMeier. I've made over $100,000 net profit flipping used clothes online. And over the years, I've learned that there's certain vintage pieces to never leave behind when I find them. So today I'm showing you exactly what those pieces are, how to recognize them, and the specific details that can make the difference between leaving money on the rack or walking away with an incredible flip. Let's get into it. First up are Pendleton board shirts. These are men's button-ups, and they typically sell for around $50 to $100. This is a red plaid shirt, size 2XL tall. It's got a small flaw in it, a hole there, but it still went for $80 full asking price. When it comes to these shirts, flaws can be pretty typical because moths like to find them and put holes in them. But that's usually okay, even when it comes to the resale value of these items. Now, the older an item is, the more valuable that it's gonna be. And this holds true with this shirt as well. It went on best offer for $130 circa 1950s. This shirt actually has quite a few holes in it from those moths. You'll either get holes or you'll get little nip marks where the fabric is almost worn away into a hole. This was listed at $60, but even with all of those holes, it went for $45 plus $29 of shipping, most likely an international sale. If you're wondering how to tell how much an item actually sold for, as well as that shipping amount that's collected, make sure you check out this video where I walk you through how to do that. Next up, starter brand satin bombers. These can be an item that resellers fight over, but for good reason. They can sell for quite a bit depending on the team or what else is represented on that bomber. This is a bomber jacket from the starter brand. This is from the San Diego Padres, and it went for $250 full asking price. And this is one from Georgetown. Make sure that you look for that embroidered stitching. That's really what makes these a little bit more valuable, is because of that quality. This one was listed for $200 and it went for $150 after a best offer. This is a really good example also of how not to do your pictures with all of that clutter in the background. This is an example of a little bit newer of a starter brand item. This is not technically vintage and it's not a sports team. It says Jack Daniels. This was listed for $125 and it actually sold over that for $150 plus $45 of shipping. I'm guessing that this is an international sale because of that shipping price, and that difference in the sale price is because of the exchange rate. All that to say is that these vintage starter brand satin bombers are in demand, but even if you come across newer items, don't hesitate to pick them up. Next up, orange tab Levi's jeans. This pair's got a hole in the back pocket. It's got heavy grease stains down both legs. Note that tag where it's kind of thick and crispy or crunchy, and it's got that typewriter style print on it. That lets you know that it's an older item. It was listed for $90 and it went on best offer for $70. Now, quick note here, just because it's an orange tab does not necessarily mean it's valuable. The most valuable items are the older ones. If you happen to come across newer orange tab like this pair from the 90s, these typically only sell for around $20 to $30. They're definitely not all created equal. Go for made in the USA, 517 boot cuts, black denim, that's a little bit more rare, as well as orange tab paired with the Big E. This is a pair of orange tab Big E's from around the 1960s to 1970s. These can mean some really big money. Note the zipper there is a Talon zip. Note the Big E, i.e. the capital E, there on the tab at the back. These were listed for $375 and they sold on best offer for $200. Next up, Cowichan knit sweaters. These are usually hand knit sweaters with a shawl neck. They also oftentimes feature animals like bison, eagles, and horses. This is a hand knit sweater, meaning it's unbranded. It does feature bison on it. Also note that Talon zip popping up again here in this item. This went full price, $250. And while animal themes are pretty typical with these Cowichan sweaters, you'll also see some other items like cars or like this one with airplanes. This also has a talon zip. You'll see there in the neckline that it says handmade by, I believe, Barbara. It was listed for $200 and it went for $140 after an offer. And don't discount kids' items when it comes to these types of sweaters. This is one that happens to have beavers on it. Again, these are not any big name brands. They're handmade, unbranded items. And this one sold full asking price for $60, even with it being a kid's item. Vintage Stetson hats. There's lots of styles here that are really popular that people are paying good money for. Everything from fedoras to felted hats to cowboy hats. This is a beaver fur felted hat from Stetson. Absolutely beautiful. It was listed for $150 and it sold on best offer for $100. This is a fedora style hat from Stetson's line called the Gun Club. These are definitely in demand. It was listed at $169 and it went for $139 after an offer. I do want to point out that it's far from just Stetson hats selling. This is a hat from the brand Victor. It was listed for $350 and it went on best offer for $275. With these items, the thing that increases the value the most is if it's made in the USA. Also, if you have the original box, that's gonna boost the price. If the sweatband is in good condition, nice and clean, and if you have larger sizes like 7 1/4 or above. Smaller sizes, unfortunately, are pretty common when it comes to vintage items, and they can take a pretty long time to sell. So unless you're willing to wait, then I would recommend passing on those smaller sizes. Frye campus boots. These are hugely popular right now. This style is still being made by Frye as well as other brands currently, but where the money really is in their vintage items with Frye as well as just the campus style in general. The most common color that you'll come across with these boots are a cognac color, but if you do come across other variations when it comes to the color, those typically will sell for quite a bit more money. This is a very light colored tan called Banana. It's also a little bit higher. It's an over the knee length. These were listed for $550 and they sold $475 after an offer. Dark brown or chocolate brown is another one of those colors that is a little bit more rare, and so the price on these are a little bit higher. This particular pair was listed for $380 and it went for $300 after an offer. And one here that is not from the Frye brand, but is the campus boot style. This is an unbranded pair of boots. These were listed at $185 and they went for $100 after an offer. This is the exact kind of insider information that I share with members of the Empowered Reseller. Every month we deep dive into a new niche. If you'd like to learn more, we would love to have you join us. Just go to empoweredreseller.com or click the link below this video. Next up, Y2K velour tracksuits. If you can find both the jacket as well as the pants, the set together usually sells for more money. Now, you've probably heard of the Juicy Couture velour tracksuits. And yes, those sell for quite a bit, but there's lots of other options here. This is a women's baby fat tracksuit set. It's got bling and sequins on it. It went full asking price $115. And this is a pretty basic looking tracksuit set from Adidas. Listed for $148, it went for $98 after an offer. And a men's set from the brand South Pole. This listing does say that it has prominent stains, but it still sold for $80 after an offer. Wrangler brush popper. These are loud, colorful, snap, Western style shirts. A lot of these do have a vertical hem. With this one, like with most of the brush poppers, you'll notice that the hem of the shirt is serged. It doesn't have a completely finished edge on it. It was listed at $125 and it went after an offer for $100. And another vertical striped shirt here. This one has a little bit more of a denim look to it. And again, that unfinished or that serged edge on the hem. Listed at $135, this one went for $115 after an offer. And this one is a super colorful, almost rainbow striped brush popper. It was listed at $72 and a best offer of $62 was accepted. Now with these shirts, I typically find that the bigger sizes sell better and sell for more money. Next up, Wilson's leather coats. Everything from motorcycle style jackets to bombers and vests. It used to be that the brown colors would sell better than black, but now pretty much all of the colors are selling equally as well, even the black. This is a motor style cycle jacket with racing stripes down the sleeves. This is from their line M. Julian. This is one to definitely keep your eye out for. It was listed at $140 and it went $120 best offer. And their adventure-bound bombers are another one to keep in mind. These typically have a liner that zips in and out of the jacket, making them super heavyweight. This one sold full asking price for $89. And things can get really crazy when you pair something like Wilson's leather to a pop culture phenomenon. This jacket happens to be from a character called Dean Winchester from a show called Supernatural. I did have to look that up. It's impossible to know almost all of these, but it is good to be aware what can happen when you pair an item like this with a pop culture icon. This jacket, believe it or not, went for $1,600 because of that. Y2K beaded tanks. Now this is a pretty broad category of items, but during the Y2K, beading and sequins were super popular, and with these items, you don't necessarily even have to have a big name brand. This tank top here is a little searched for brand, but it has a lot of details going on with it. Lots of beadwork with this one. It was listed for $85 and it sold after a best offer for $76. And this tank is an unbranded item. It has paisley print as well as lace trim, which is also another really popular feature from the Y2K era. And this one, even with it being unbranded, sold for full asking price of $45. And these butterfly halter style tank tops can sell for a lot of money. There's usually a lot of sequins and a lot of beading with these items. This one went for full asking price of $149. Mohair sweaters. This is another type of item that can sell for quite a lot. This is a sweater from the brand Sears with sort of an argyle design going on there. It sold full asking price for $76. This one is also from Sears and a little bit more of a bold pattern and color scheme. This was listed at $352 and it sold after a best offer for $260. Again, from the brand Sears. Another brand that's super common when it comes to these mohair sweaters is the brand Jansen. This one has a little bit more of an understated look. It's a cardigan listed at $250 and it sold after a best offer for $210. And Woolrich hunting jackets, especially if they're buffalo plaid, especially if they're Mackinac or they have an Aztec design to them. This is one of those Aztec or tribal patterned jackets. So beautiful. I absolutely love these patterns no matter the brand. People are after these kinds of things. It's something that I recently covered during a deep dive for my members. This one was listed for $140 and it sold after an offer for $110. And this is an older style plaid Mackinac. Again, the older that you can find these items, the more valuable, the more money that you're gonna be able to get for them. With this one, I think it's really cool. There is actually a dry cleaning tag attached from the last time it was cleaned in 1978. Listed for $200, it went for $148 after an offer. And this is a basic large check jacket. It is quilted lined. This one sold full asking price for $98. And Y2K loafers or Oxford style shoes, especially mall brands. These are the kind of thing that a lot of resellers don't even think about. This is a pair of tan Oxfords from the brand Bongo. With these items, almost all of them have some level of wear to them around the toe as well as the heel. But don't let that scare you away. These were listed for $80 and they went for $65 after an offer. And this is a little penny heel loafer from the brand Mud. These sold full asking price for 75 bucks. And a pair of chunky platform loafers from LEI. These were listed for $80 and they went for $65 after an offer. And vintage nightgowns. This is one of my favorite sections to hit up because these can be money really no matter the brand. This one does happen to be from Victoria's Secret. You'll notice that it's satin. It's got that kind of sheer mesh down there at the bottom. Quite a few details going on with this one. It does have a little bit of a newer tag to it. It's a size extra small, but it still had 17 bids on it and went for 60 bucks on auction. And this one is a two-piece set from an older brand called Cachet or Cachet. I'm not sure with this one. They did use the keyword bridal, but another good one would have been wedding. It was listed for $149 and it went after an offer for $86. And a nightgown from the brand Olga. Pretty basic, but this went full asking price for 89 bucks. And Y2K maxi dresses. This definitely goes in the category of never to leave behind. This is a purple halter dress. Note that sheer mesh there through the waist as well as beading. This is from the brand Cachet, different than that other Cachet that we looked at just a second ago. This one was listed for $150. It went after an offer for 120 bucks. And this is a slip style dress, also from the brand Victoria's Secret. Don't discount items just because they're Victoria's Secret. There's a lot of Victoria's Secret and even pink branded items that are older vintage items from the Y2K or earlier that can go for quite a lot. And while we're on the topic, yes, Y2K is unfortunately vintage. 20 years old and older is typically the cutoff for vintage. This Victoria's Secret dress with the hanky hem or a little bit of an asymmetrical hem to it, it went for $115 after an offer. And a dress from BCBG. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have a photograph of the label, but lots of great details with this one. It has mesh overlay, which was huge from around that Y2K era. It's got embroidery there on it, as well as beadwork. Note that they use the keywords of fairy and whimsy goth. Those types of keywords can make a huge difference. By the way, I cover all of those types of keywords and more on my posters, digital as well as now in a print version. This one went full asking price for 140 bucks. Now that you know the types of items to be on the lookout for, the next step is to dive into the specific keywords that are getting items like these to sell. If you want that information, then stick around for this next video. Just click or tap the screen and I'll walk you through the